Chuirde agus Jimmer Teishiv, welcome back. So what we're going to have a look at is 3 sample answers and bring the material in together, talking about the people in your family and who you get on with and who you don't get on with a very, very, very sneaky reason. We want to direct and we want to manipulate the conversation as much as possible. So let's have a look at a little bit of self-description first of all, and some nice key phrases to talk a little bit more about yourself as well. And again, we're trying to give hints to the examiner about what to ask and what not to ask. Have a look at this. Istigh or duine staidéireach. Let's go for duine staidéireach. A studious person. Now, straight off the bat, tell me that you're a studious person. In my mind, I'm getting, right, let's talk about school. Are you reading books, favourite subjects? So you're dropping in hints. So, gur duine staidéireach me. So, istigh means I reckon, I suppose. Now, that's a lovely phrase, isn't it? If I ask you, do you like French? Yeah, istigh. Yeah, I reckon. So it's a phrase you can use on its own. So istigh gur duine staidéireach me. I suppose that I'm a studious person. Gur duine staidéireach me. Now, dúil is one of my favourite words here. Dúil means an interest. Quick question. What word do you have for interest in Irish beginning with the letter S? We can have spéis and we can have sim. Perfect, right? So if you want something different, let's go for this. Tá dúil mhór agam I. I have a great interest. Dúil mhór, great and interest. So tá dúil mhór agam is staidéir, of great interest in study. Is bralam a bheith ag fálam faoi stair agus faoi istigh. Now let's have a look at this first part, right? Faoi means about. Faoi stair, about history. Faoi istigh, do not pronounce the FH. Your FHs are always going to be silent for you in your language. So faoi istigh, about physics. Now let's go back and get the first part here. Isbralium, I love to be. Isbralium a bheith, I love to be. And then ag fálam means learning. The GH is in the middle of the word, so don't pronounce it. Fálam, fálam. So isbralium a bheith, I love to be. Ag fálam, learning. Faoi stair, about history. Faoi istigh, about physics. Hábhair. Now this is a very, very nice phrase to have, and I'll talk to you about this in a second. Táimecríostaí means my heart is in. It means I'm mad about, I'm crazy about. So if you notice, not once have I used smaoineamh for I like. I've said tá dúil mhór agam. I've said isbralium. And now I've got this lovely phrase that a lot of natives would actually use. Táimecríostaí means I'm mad about, I'm nuts about. Táimecríostaí sna hábhair. I'm mad about the subjects. My heart is in the subjects. History and physics. So I know kind of what we're going to talk about. Is even lom a bheith. And here's another expression. I love to be. Is even lom a bheith. I love to be. And again, not once have I said is smaoineamh. This is where we get our H1s. So is even lom, I love a bheith to be. Ag léamh, reading. Faoi, we know means about. Now, TH, do not pronounce the T. Hréimhsí. So from the H onwards. So faoi hréimhsí starta, about periods of history. Faoi hréimhsí starta, about periods of history. Now, if you feel like you can go on and you want to add on a little bit more, you can. A harla means which. A in Irish means which. So a harla, which happened in Éirden, in Ireland. Go háirithe, especially. Coga, go as far as the letter A. Coga. Coga na Garda, the Civil War. I love this word in Irish, not the actual concept of a civil war, but Coga na Garda, what word can you see in Coga na Garda for civil war? You can see the word Cara. It's literally the war of friends. Coga na Garda, the civil war, the war of friends. So go háirithe, especially Coga na Garda, the civil war. Now, did you see this word here? On ábhair sin. Will you do me a favour? Will you underline this? This is what we call it's a filler. It basically buys you a couple of seconds. So do you know the way in French you might have to use words like and in Spanish you probably have to use other Spanish variants and stuff like that. Like in Irish we don't really need to make them sounds. We can just say an ábhair sin, and an ábhair sin means in that manner, in that way, in that regard. So yeah, an ábhair sin, in that way, and then you can use your material. So it kind of buys you a couple of seconds to think about it. So I'll be giving you these all the way throughout. They buy you, they're called fillers, and they buy us a couple of seconds. So an ábhair in that way, hocu liom a bheith. Let's go for this one here, right? A bheith, that's my infinitive, which means to be. So to bheith, a bheith, to be. So hoca, and don't pronounce the T. Hoca liom a bheith means I am able to be. I can be. Hoca liom a bheith. I can be, I am able to be cuan, quiet. And you see this word here, istigh, means I reckon, I suppose. And it's the exact same as istigh. So istigh is used more on the western parts of the island and down the southern parts of the island. And istigh is more kind of a bit northern as well, actually, istigh. So we've got two nice variants in there. Now, this is really important. We're trying to manipulate. So far you're telling me, Michal, I'm quite studious. Ask me about school, ask me about reading, ask me about history, ask me about, you're dropping in hints of what you want to talk about, and you're dropping in a hint of what you do not want to talk about here. Ní duine mór sport me. This is really important. I am not a big sports person. Ní duine mór sport me. I'm not into sports, which is telling me, don't ask me about sports. And I'm like, grant, because I don't know much about sports either. So ní duine mór sport me. I'm not a big sports person. You can take out the word sport if you like, and you can pop in the word ceol. Ní duine mór ceol me. I'm not a big music person. It's a waste of your time asking me about music. So you need to kind of help me, let me know what you want to talk about, and let me know what you don't want to talk about. Let's have a look at this now. We're going to use that same thing that we just did, what we want to talk about and what we don't want to talk about. We're going to use that, but we're going to look at it. Do we get on well with people in the family? We're going to match the two of these in together, right? So who you don't get on well with in the family and why. So ní réitím go maith le. I don't get on well with. Ní réitím go maith le má grethar fiacre. My brother fiacre. So don't get on well with him. Why? The hardva. The harva, don't pronounce the T. The harva on account. The harva gur bé an duine is óige. On account that he is, an duine is óige, the youngest person, sachlan, in the family of kids. So I don't get on well with him on account that he is the youngest person. And why? Tá sé millte. Miltte is spoilt. So millte egg, spoilt by millte egg. So tá sé millte egg mam and egg dad by dad. Peata ceart, proper pet, right pet, proper pet. Is peata ceart eh? He's a right pet. And now here, jaint in a third means to be honest, to be upfront, to be straight with you. Jaint in a third. You have different variations of this in Irish. You could say chun an iirne a rá, and you could say chun an iirne a insint, to tell you the truth. But if you're looking for something different, dainta na third, to be upfront. Cuireann sé isteach so cuireann sé isteach, it irritates me. It annoys me. Cuireann sé isteach nuair a ecem. Don't pronounce the FH. So nuair, when a ecem, I see. On the maid, amount, saoirse of freedom. Saoirse. A bhíonige. Now here's my word again, which. A bhíonige, which he has. Which he has. And freastalir means to attend. Freastalir cheolcardam, to attend a concert or concerts. Which means you're telling me that you haven't been to concerts. I'm like, have you not been to concerts? And you can say, no, I haven't been to concert. The last concert I was at was 2 years ago, and I went to the Aviva and I saw. So this is us manipulating the conversation as much as possible. Ní raibh puin saoirse agam. Now, puin saoirse means an ounce of freedom, a bit of freedom, or any freedom. So ní raibh puin saoirse agam. I didn't have. So I didn't have puin saoirse, an ounce of freedom, nuair a bhí mé níos óige, when I was in the níos óige, younger. Níos oige. So again, I'll be like, oh, why have you no freedom? You could say, well, I'm studying, I've got 7 subjects, I want to go to Trinity next year. So there's lots of scope there for us to talk about concerts and music and not being able to go anywhere because of the leaving cert. But you have to give me hints to what you want to talk about. You have to take control of the conversation. Have a look at example number 3 here, right? Now, this is a person that I do get on well with. So let's go for Réitíim go hintach le. I get on great with. Now, mo grefur, my sister, Shifa. Or mo yefur, Shifa. Ke go will she. I like this expression in Irish. Even though she is. Ke. So ke go will she. Even though she is. Excuse me. Gavlin níos oige. 2 years younger. And the na means dan. Na me, dan me. Gavlin níos oige. 2 years younger than me. Being na cahav aimste céine a going. Let's go for this word here, céine first, right? Céine means same. Cahav aimste céine, same pastimes. So same pastimes. So being na cahav aimste céine a going. We have the same pastimes. So now you're dropping hints in that you want to talk about sports. Have a look. Is minic a bhín muid burt and we alar na parka. So let's go for the first part here. Is minic a bhín muid burt. It's often the two of us are. It's often, is minic, a bhín muid burt, that the two of us are. And now, mui means out. Alar na parka, in the middle of a pitch. Ilar means in the middle. So Ilar na park, in the middle of a pitch. And imon trainal is a really, really, really good phrase to use, and it means training. So I have a question. What word do you have for training in Irish? Egg trainal. Egg trainal. And that's great. That's perfect. But if you're looking at maybe clawing up the mark a little bit more, push for the H1s and H2s, that imon trainal is really, really good. So imon trainal, it means training. It's just a fancy expression. So put the 3 parts together. Is minic a bhín muid birch. It's often that the two of us are. A moi, out. Ilar na parka, in the middle of a pitch. Imon trainala, training. Adring féin, between us. So you're talking to the exam, you're like, adring féin, between us. Now if you add in the word a one, it means just. So if you really want to be a little bit sneaky and you really want to cut the back off she for here, right, you could say adring féin a one, just in between us. Tá mí níos fearr. So I am níos fearr, better. Níos fearr ná I, better than her. Or if it's a guy that you're talking about, your brother, just swap it out for a. Níos fearr ná a, better than him. So tá mé, I am níos fearr ná I, better than her, or níos fearr ná a. Go for one more here, right? The comparative. Níos tapula, quicker, faster. So tá mé, I am, níos tapula, quicker, an bark on the pitch, on the pitch. Now, again, I'll be asking, what sports do you play? And you're like, oh, well, me, how funny, you should ask me, I play blah, blah. And then you start to tell me about the sports that you could play. So at all times, you need to really control the conversation to where you want the conversation to go. And to be honest, it's something that's such a relief when I hear students kind of dropping me in hints like this, because then I'm like, let's talk about this then. And it takes the pressure off me, because bear in mind, I'm kind of trying to write out an awful lot of material. I'm trying to fill in forms. I'm trying to listen to you. So if you get that student that says it's grand, I'll take it from here, Mihal. You just sit down and just give me that H1. That's a massive relief for me. So don't be afraid to kind of lead the conversation, direct the conversation, or really kind of essentially what you're going to do is you're going to manipulate the conversation itself. Let's have a look at another answer here. We're going to talk about the parents. So we've looked at kind of music, we've looked at sports. Let's have a look at how to manipulate to get on to talk to about school. So is féidir somebody a bheith dín go leor. Let's go for this one here, right? A bheith means to be. Ave, to be. And then dín go leor means tough enough, strict enough. And the orm just means on me. Now, the first person, we want to talk about who can be tough on you, who can be strict enough on you. So you could put in, Is féidir le mam bheith dín go leor orm. Mam can be tough on me. Or is féidir le dad a bheith dín go leor orm. Dad can be tough enough on me, strict enough on me. Or my uncle, or manteen, my auntie. Now, if you feel like you can add on a little bit more, you can. Go háirithe, especially. Now, this last part here, right, is very, very H1-esque. Agus mé ag tuairt faoin arteist. Now, listen to the translation of this, right? Agus mé ag tuairt faoin while I am undertaking the leaving cert. Now, I'm not using the word ag déanamh for doing and the leaving cert. We're going for ag tuairt faoin, which means undertaking. It's very fancy. It's very H1. So it's a little bit of a complicated sentence. But if you want, you can just stop there. And you can say, is féidir le mam a bheith dín orm. Mam can be tough on me. And if you feel like you can add on, say, agus mé ag tuairt faoin arteist while I'm undertaking, while I'm doing the leaving cert. And the imlína just means this year. So sé or she, is dócha go bhfuil sé ag smaoineamh mo chun. Let's go for this one here, right? Ag smaoineamh, we know, means thinking, right? Now, mo chun means on my behalf, thinking on my behalf. Ag smaoineamh mo chun. Now, let's go for the first part. Is dócha, I reckon, I suppose. Is dócha go bhfuil she, I reckon, that she is. I reckon that he is. Go will she. Ag smaoineamh mo chun, thinking on my behalf, and an síl atá amach Rome, on life in store for me, on life ahead of me, in life in front of me. Any of those will be perfect. Le ceangal, we've came across this a couple of times, right? Le ceangal means fit to be tied. It kind of means furious, fuming, very angry. So being sé, he does be, or being she does be. Le ceangal, fuming. Nuair a bhíonn an chlann ag trid. When the family does be, when the kids do be. Ag trid, fighting. Faoin telefís, about the. Do you see that word faoin? Faoin with the letter N means about the. Faoin, about the television. Or, and again, that would talk about, let's talk about the television, and you could tell me about the TV programs that you like. Or if you didn't want to talk about television, you'd swap it and you'd say faoi cheol, about music. So he is fit to be tied when the family do fight about music, and we could talk about music. Or you might say when the family fights faoi sport, about sport. But at all times you're taking control of the conversation. Now, brisin in an aeróige air. If you want to say his patience breaks, we are going to go for air. If you want to say her patience breaks, her nerves break, we're going to go for arhi. So brisin aeróige air. His patience breaks, his nerves break. Brisin aeróige arhi. Her patience breaks, her nerves break. And then gomio minic, very often. And finally, the last part we have here is cráite. Cráite means tormented. So being sé cráite, he does be tormented. Or being she cráite, she does be tormented. And then going means by us, tormented by us. So again, lots of scope there. We can talk about television, music and sport. And you could also use in a couple when the family fight about television and music. And you're giving me lots of opportunity to talk about stuff. But let me know what you want to talk about. It'll make the oral an awful lot easier and reward you with high marks. So lots of sample answers for you. But the big thing is, when your examiner asks you, do you get on well with people in your family? Don't go, yeah, we do. Where am I going to go? What am I going to ask him? Be like, that's great, well done, ye. So tell me. So, and the conversation stops. So when you say, do you get on well with the family? Give me someone you do get on well with and give me reasons why. You're close in age, you play the same sports, we can talk about sport. And then somebody you don't get on well with because maybe studying, maybe music, maybe you fight. But again, we can talk about those things. So that brings us to the end of this. Now, nice, short, simple videos all the way through. Don't forget to tick these off in our books to make sure to let yourselves know that you have revised the material and you've gone through it as well. And again, any questions, any problems, please let me know. But other than that, folks, you were absolutely deadly. Go to Míle Maith, slán inis.